Hey everybody, this is Chris at Zenark Reptiles. Thank you for joining me once again. Today is my first day on lockdown. They just shut our businesses down as of yesterday, so I've been going to work this whole week, but this is our first day of staying at home. It's going to be a rough 2 weeks. Those who have teenagers might understand. I have 4 teenagers and I love them to death. They're my children, but they love to argue, especially the 2 youngest girls. That being said, I also the type of person that like to go out and do things. I don't sit still very often, so it's going to be a very rough couple weeks for me, but we will make it through. Anyways, guys, before we get started, I would really appreciate it if you guys would hit that subscribe button. Also, hit that notification bell. What that notification bell does for you is it keeps you in the loop of all my upcoming videos. Also, if you wouldn't mind crushing that like button, what that like button does for me is it just helps me in my YouTube endeavors. So if you guys get anything from my videos, way you can say thank you to me is by subscribing or hitting that like button. Anyways, today I'm going to address something that I get this question all the time. How many snakes does it take to justify breeding my own rats? And I think the magic number is around 10 snakes when you should start breeding your own rats. I started at 20, but if I could do it all over again, I'd probably start at 10. So first of all, you're going to need some kind of racking system or some way to do it. I wouldn't recommend aquariums, but you could use aquariums. People do it. I just don't think they're very sanitary. They're hard to clean. That's my opinion. I don't feel like scrubbing an aquarium for a long time. I'm hoping to upgrade to a Freedom Breeder rack, but unfortunately everything's been shut down, so there's really no shipping of racks right now. Everything in California, they're locked down like we are too. But that being said, I just personally use the tubs you get at Home Depot. They're called cement mixing tubs. I think every Home Depot has them. I'm not sure if you guys have Home Depot where you are or what you know you have, but I'll show you what you'll need to build that rack, and I'll have it right here. So the rack's going to cost you about $170. That's counting the watering system. You can get that at Reptile Basics. It's the tube, the adapter for the bucket, and also the nipples. You don't have to do this. You can actually get the water bottles you get for like your pets. Say you have a hamster or anything like that. Those will work too. I just find the watering system a lot easier. I mean, it does have its negative too. Sometimes they can get clogged, and actually I've had rats drown before, only once, but it can happen. The water bottles, on the other hand, you might want to keep them someplace quiet because they do make that clicking sound. It's really annoying and very loud. So just remember that. So now you got your rack. What I would recommend is a tub rack if you're going to breed for 10 snakes. And the reason why I say that is because you will have, I would put 4 females in 4 different tubs. That's why I keep 4 females in there in each one, and I'd only keep 2 males back. You don't need more than 2 males. The reason why I say 2 males is maybe one might die or one might be sterile or some kind of weird thing like that, so you always want to keep a couple, in my opinion. The 2 bottom racks, or whatever, the 2 racks are going to be saved for what are called grow out bins. So when they get a certain size, you get weaned, you can put them down those bins and save them for your snakes. Now that you have your system, let's talk about the cost difference. Now, this is I'll show you right here. I'll break this down right here. See, I personally right now I've switched to pig food, and that's what that shows right there. You can actually use the F6, which I'll show the cost difference right here. Now, I switched to pig food and it's worked really well for me. I haven't seen any difference in their looks, their breeding. It's been the same. And if you actually look on the ingredients is very close. And I actually recently switched to a brand I get from Tractor Supply. I was getting the pig and sow, but it's hard to find recently. I don't know why. I guess maybe this is breeding season for pigs. So I went to this one, and it's about the same, and it's actually a little bit cheaper, and it's been doing very well for me. Now, I was for a long time using the F6 from Missouri, and it did fine for me. But like I said, I went to the pig food, and it works just as good for me, and it's half the price. And I don't think my rats have any difference. I mean, they don't show any difference. They're still healthy. I still supplement my rats with all the vegetables, like all the vegetables we don't use. They kind of get bad, or they're going bad, or like all the leftovers when we're cooking food and stuff like that. I do that all the time with my rats. When you're doing frozen, in a perfect world, you're gonna feed your snakes once a week. I try to feed my snakes once a week, so I have a weekly feeding schedule for my snakes. Do they eat every week? No. For the most part, I'd say about 80% of them eat every time. I have some that'll eat more than once a week if I let them. I'm not saying I do, but I have some that will, and I have some that won't eat only about once every 3 to 4 weeks. Ball pythons are finicky. That's just what it is. And also, this will work with ASF rats. The only difference with ASF rats is that you're gonna need more of them. They don't breed. Well, I think they breed just as fast as the normal rats. The thing is that they take longer to be a useful size. We want to feed our snakes once a week. So this is what it would look like if I fed frozen to 10 snakes once a week. And these are, I'm considering having adult ball pythons. As you can see, it's half if you use the Missouri F6, and it's way over half if you use the pig food. So right there, you're saving lots of money just by doing your own rats. There is lots of pluses to breeding your own rats. The first plus is that you are saving money. You can see that right there. Even with the setup, you're still already saving money with your rats. Number 2 is that you can sell some of your extra rats to people, especially your friends, if you have any breeding friends around town, or some pet shops will actually let you trade them in for currency. I've done it before too. I trade them in, and I'll be able to get some bedding or something like that. I've done that with a place in Seattle. They allowed me to trade them some in, and they gave me some credit, and I bought some stuff for my rats. Another good thing is once you defrost a frozen, it'll have to be eaten. Now me, that's not a big deal because I have tegu. I have a tegu, and I also have a monitor, which eat pretty much all my leftovers. But that being said, not everybody has that. So if your snake doesn't eat it, you can always put it back in the rack, and you save that money. Another thing plus is that I know for a fact that my rats are healthy because I put the time into them. I know what they're eating. I know how they're kept. And I don't have to worry about any kind of disease because they're my rats, and I spent that time, and they're very clean. And also I know that they're not mistreated because I don't mistreat my rats. I treat them very well. I treat them like pets, even though I'm going to feed them off. Also, this I found to be true, and I know other people say the exact same thing. When I feed them with my rats, my snakes grow way faster. And it may be because they're healthier, or I spend more time with them. I think that's probably what it is, but like I said, I'm not a veterinarian. I am not a nutritionist, but that's just my opinion. But I know for a fact that my snakes grow faster when I give them my own rats. Now, especially I think they can grow faster with ASF rats, with the African soft furs. But when I used to do Lane Labs and also Big Cheese, I also did Rodent Pro. I liked Lane Labs the best before I switched over to breeding my own. As soon as I switched to live and my own, I saw a big jump in the size of my snakes. I'm not going to lie. I don't know, and I think Lane Labs takes very good care of their rats. They came in very clean, no poop. They look very healthy, but for some reason when I feed them my rats, they just grow way faster. Now, if you plan on going with ASF rats, you can still go with the 6 tub rack, but you'll probably need more. But you can actually fit a bigger colony in these. I know a lot of people that use the tubs for these, but there's a little part up front that has like a little tab right there. You'll have to put some mesh on that, some of that mesh wire on there. You should do it anyways, because I do have some of my normals that chewed out before, but the ASF rats will chew out. And you got to make sure when you build that rack, you want it tight up top so they can't get to it. ASF rats are chewers, and I don't use the black tubs for them. I actually went to Vision tubs. I use the Vision 35s because they don't chew out of those. ASF rats are chewing boogers, so they will get out of anything. So definitely, I think it's worth breeding your own rats. I think it's cost effective. I think it's healthier, and there's many pluses, but there is negatives. Rats stink. Now, if you have just one rack, when I had 2 racks, I never had any smell. I didn't notice any smell. When I started breeding a lot more, I started noticing the smell. And usually you don't have any smell until you actually have the babies. When you start getting like the holdbacks, they stink a lot more because there's a lot more in the tub. But if you feed them off right away, you know, it's not that bad. Also, if it gets out of hand, you can also call some and freeze them, which is nice to have your own rats on hand too. Also, it is work keeping up with your rats. Now, like I said, again, if you only have one rack, it's not, the work's not going to kill you. You have to clean out about 6 tubs a week. Not a big deal. I clean out a lot more than that, and and I make it. But if you just have 6 tubs, it's really simple to clean out. And you don't use that much bedding, you don't use much stuff, so it's pretty good. And what I put on there, actually how much food you need and how much bedding you need, I probably went a little over, because when I had 2 racks, I didn't use that much, but I'm just kind of going on an average. So there's a lot more pros to keeping your own rats than negatives, but there is negatives. If $600 is not a big deal of savings to you, I totally get that, you know, because you are putting your time in it. But at 10 snakes, you are saving money. And the main thing I think to me is I know that my snakes are getting healthy rats, and they seem to grow better and do better on live than the ones that I produced. Again, that might be my opinion, but it's what I've seen. And, you know, I know what I see with my own eyes, and, you know, sometimes your eyes can deceive you, but in my feeling, in my heart, I know that my snakes do better on the rats that I breed. But that being said, it is a lot of work, and you know, it can be frustrating. You have to go to work 40 hours a week, then come home and deal with your rats. It is kind of frustrating, but you know, I think it's worth it. I think it's a labor of love, but to each his own. Anyways, guys, I hope this helped you out. If you don't mind, I'd appreciate if you guys check out some of my other videos right here. Also, crush that subscribe button. I'd appreciate it. Love you guys. You guys take care. Hope this answers all your questions. Later.